Hey guys, Jeff here, and before we get to today's episode, I wanted to let you know about our Season 4 sponsor, Adventure is Out There Travel. If you're listening to this podcast, there's a pretty good chance that you're in the middle of planning your next Disney vacation right now. So why not make it easier for yourself? By working with an Adventure is Out There travel agent, you'll be having an experienced vacation planner doing the heavy lifting for you. Adventure is Out There Travel specializes in making sure your entire group gets to experience the type of activities they want in order to make your trip even more magical. Whether heading to a Walt Disney World vacation in Orlando, flying west to Disneyland, or floating on the high seas in a Disney cruise, Adventure is Out There Travel can help you plan the vacation of a lifetime. Visit adventureisoutthere.travel.com for your free, no-obligation quote today. Now on with the show.
Do you dream of fairies and princesses? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePaoli.
And I'm Tracy Hines.
And Tracy Hines. Yes. I think we're going to talk about one of your favorites today.
Yes.
You love this princess.
Princess Jasmine.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Welcome to Princess Pondering.
So Princess Jasmine from, of course, the film Aladdin.
Yes.
We haven't talked about her yet. We got to get to it, but she is one of your favorites.
I love this film. This is one that I grew up with. You know? This is like
it's the ultimate
the Renaissance,
Disney. Yeah.
Disney Renaissance, Alan Menken. It's just, it gets me right here. It's got Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And I love Aladdin. Aladdin, fun fact, one of my first crushes. He's so cute. Everything about this movie. He's so great. He's so likable. He's so scrappy.
Yeah. Before we jump into it, I do want to mention, though, this is interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this is the first Princess Pondering we're having where the princess is not the main character of the film.
I know. I mean,
Jasmine is introduced, I think it was 12 and a half minutes into the movie. Almost 12 and a half minutes in.
I mean,
which is fairly long for a short animated film.
If you think about like Sleeping Beauty, at least.
I mean, she's sleeping, but it is her movie.
It's her movie, but like Jasmine gets a lot more screen time, so like she's okay.
Really? Is Sleeping Beauty?
She?
I don't know. I feel like Sleeping Beauty. Wait, have we done
Beauty
her yet?
Have we?
I can't even keep track. I don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
We have not done Aurora yet.
Snap.
So we got to get to Aurora.
I think Aurora only has like 12 minutes of screen time.
No, really?
Go back and look. Oh. You guys will know. I'm sure one of you guys will know. Leave it in the comments. Just
that's
we'll get
interesting.
there.
We're totally.
However, Jasmine, my girl Jasmine.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's very much the movie's about Aladdin.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's great about this movie. And there's a lot of Disney movies like this. I think Disney in general, but I feel like guys and girls, kids, little boys and little girls both really love this movie because there's kind of everything. Like Tangled, I feel like there's a little bit of, there's so much adventure, but there's also the princess and there's a love story and the romance and the magic.
And a ton of comedy in Aladdin.
So much comedy.
Yeah. Any favorite moments that you can think of outside of the musical moments, of course, in Aladdin or pertaining to Jasmine?
Oh, I mean, everything. I love Raja. I love her.
Interesting.
Really?
Very
Cats?
interesting.
Are you being silly right now?
No, I'm just.
Oh,
I find Raja to be such an unnecessary and forgettable character.
Oh,
although my favorite animal sidekick of all Disney films is in Aladdin. I love You don't like Abu? Okay, I'm okay with the boo.
Whoa. I'm not
First of all, no, I love this conversation. You're Team Raja, I'm Team Abu.
Yes, cats.
Oh my God.
Always cats.
All right.
Have you not learned this?
No, I understand this. That's cool.
If there is a cat,
monkeys,
I will love it.
Oh.
If there is a monkey,
first of all, actually,
get me out of there.
Okay, no, see.
Get out of there.
I love monkeys, number one. And number two, he turns into like my favorite animal. My favorite animals are elephants and horses. I do love
elephants, so
Abu turns into an elephant.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's fine. Actually, my favorite animal are dinosaurs, let's just be honest. But This is a great way to start the episode. I love this.
All the
Team Raja,
animals.
Team Abu.
Yes, I just in general like have a fear of monkeys.
Really?
I put this out there already. Like, yeah,
All
like
right.
Tarzan.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, it's silly. We all have like fears of, but like I'm not a monkey person. I'm not a monkey fan. It's also like Uncanny Valley. Like they're too like humanoid, but they're not humans, and it's just there's something about monkeys. Abu's little, so it's better.
Yeah.
It's better when they're little.
I mean, they can be vicious. There's no question
But
about
he
it.
screws everything up for Aladdin. Let's be real. Here we go again.
You think so?
Yes.
Well, he does. Yes.
Aladdin's going to get the
infidels,
lamp,
Yes.
and Abu is the reason that they get stuck
I agree.
in the
Yes.
in
In the Cave of
in
Wonders.
the Cave of Wonders, and then over and over again in the marketplace, Abu is like, being all silly. Remember when he like bows?
Yeah,
and all the stuff
that's one of my
falls out.
that's one of my favorite moments. Abu pretending to be the Sultan is like one of the funniest moments in the movie.
He is cute and funny, and like I get why people love Abu. I'm not saying he's not likable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not like as much a fan of monkeys, so he's not my favorite sidekick.
What about Abu when he's doing his impression? He's doing his impression of Jasmine when they're in the prison, and Abu's like basically.
Oh, I know. It's
Come on.
it's good. It's like Pip in Enchanted.
It's so cute.
Well, that's what Pip is mimicking,
Yeah.
I think, in Enchanted. But yeah, no, he has his moments.
I love
I
Abu.
appreciate Abu, and I will say this: the movie needs Abu.
Yes.
It needs him, so I accept him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I love it.
he's no Flounder.
I love Abu, but yeah, Flounder's great.
Flounder
too.
is there for Ariel.
Flounder's phenomenal.
He's there for her. Anyways,
Anywho, let's get back to Jasmine.
Raja. Princess Raja.
Okay, anything else about Raja you want to talk about?
I just love their relationship. I have a dream of like hugging a big
That's
cat, whether it's a
terrifying.
lion. Well, yeah, but I love cats. So can you imagine? Like my ultimate would be hugging a lion or hugging a tiger or all of them.
So you're scared of what a monkey or a gorilla would do to you, but you're cool with hugging a tiger.
I mean, I know I can't do it, and I know it's not smart, but I live with a little lion. My cat rips me up all the time. He's super crazy, but I love big cats.
All right.
I love how Raja loves her, and just it's a he, right?
I
like
have
it's a
no
he.
idea.
But yeah, he just emotes very well.
All right. Going back to Jasmine.
I'm sorry. I love Jasmine too.
No, Jasmine.
But Raja though.
Jasmine, I think, is such another strong female, even though she's not like the lead of this film. Very strong character.
Yes.
I love. There's the moment where she's there. I guess Aladdin's taking her to his home, and he like jumps over across a building. Yeah. And he jumps over a building to get further, and then like he builds a little bridge for her, or a plank for her to walk across.
Yes.
And she ends up jumping the building as well.
She just like vaults across.
Yeah, she's like, I don't need your help. I'm like Princess Jasmine. All's good.
I love his reaction to her too, and he looks at Abu, and it's just like, dang.
Yeah. Another great thing about her that I love is that she's smart, and she knows I recognize this guy. Mm-hmm. And she's like, have I met you before? And she even, how does she do it? Oh, she's so smart. She goes, it's a shame Abu had to miss this.
Mm-hmm.
And
after the carpet ride.
Yeah. And he's like, well, no. And he gets all tongue tied over this. I'm like, smart, clever girl. To quote Jurassic Park, because whenever I can, I will.
And Doctor Who.
Is that from Doctor Who?
Clever girl.
I've never seen Doctor Who. But I just know her from a raptor in Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
But in any case.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, no, I love that she is smart enough to, I feel like in some of maybe the older Disney princess movies, they would have just kind of played along and be like, no, he's here to save me type of thing. And she's like, no, I know who you are. You're lying to me. It's all good. So.
I love that she's definitely.
And she screws with them.
Yeah. She's super sassy.
Yes.
And they're kind of a perfect match. Because, here he's kind of lying to her and trying to do all, and she's like, I see right through it.
Yeah.
She cuts him down to size, a little bit. Not cuts him down to size, but she you know, he can't get past her, you know, and
Yeah.
I just really like that she's one of these princesses. And I think one of the reasons why I really took to her, it's like Ariel, like Belle. She thinks for herself. She's got her head on her shoulders, you know, and she's not afraid to speak her mind. And
Yeah.
I love that she's that. It's sort of that 90s Disney princess, you know.
She's very feisty toward Jafar. Like, this
Yes.
evil guy, you know, she lets him know what she thinks of him.
She's not going to take any crap from anybody.
She even says at one point, maybe I don't want to be a princess, which I think is very interesting. She's a little bit oblivious to the way that the world works. Because
But wouldn't you be?
Yeah, of course. She's
Yeah.
stuck behind these walls all the time. When she leaves, she basically steals an apple.
Yeah.
And then you better be able to pay for that. And she's like, pay? Like,
I don't have any
really?
money.
Oh, how do you think the world works? But yeah, I love like when Jasmine kisses Jafar.
Oh, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, just to fool him though. Like, that's how committed she is.
Yeah.
Like, she is like, no, I'm gonna do this. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. It is a little weird that she follows a strange man home though. Not gonna lie. Like, she's just like, oh, sure, I'll follow you home, Aladdin. Like,
But you mentioned about being naive and not knowing how the world works. In her life, she's only ever
she's very trustworthy.
it's only ever put in front of her.
Don't take that life lesson from Jasmine.
No.
Do not follow strange men home, no matter how cute they are.
Was that his home though? Yeah, that was, I guess.
Yeah, that's where him and Abu hung out.
Oh.
I know, so sad, right? But he had a great view of the castle.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was not impressed.
Yeah. One of the things about the film overall that I find very interesting is this is, you know, most Disney films are timeless because there's nothing really setting them in a specific moment in time. Aladdin has a lot of pop culture references in it. Mostly the genie.
The genie, yeah.
I mean, he literally like transforms into
turns-
Jack Nicholson and like Groucho Marx and like a lot of different things. And it's so interesting to me that it's not dated because of this, but it still seems to work.
It completely holds up.
So-
It's so funny. Well, and you don't even need to know who these people are.
No, I mean, I didn't as a kid, first time I was watching it.
I didn't. I think Jack Nicholson is the only one I recognized.
Okay.
You know, and I was like, that looks familiar, but yeah.
Hey folks, after multiple requests, the Disney Coast to Coast 2018 calendar is now available for sale at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. Featuring original photos from around the Disney parks, this calendar is perfect for you or as a holiday gift for the Disney fans in your life. Plus, if you missed out on our Disney Coast to Coast t-shirt sale earlier this year, you can now purchase the calendar and t-shirt bundle at a discounted price. Don't miss this opportunity as these items will be for sale for a limited time. Your purchase helps ensure that future episodes of Disney Coast to Coast will remain free for our loyal listeners and viewers. Visit DisneyCoastToCoast.com now for more details. And by now I mean immediately after finishing this episode because I definitely wouldn't want to interrupt your DCTC time. Now back to the show.
Can I just say, I'm getting really distracted that your glasses are perfect Jasmine Disney bounding material.
Oh, well, that was obviously done purposefully.
Obviously.
Obviously. I'm getting distracted by your mouse ears just because they're lovely.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
it.
you very much.
Oh, boy. Anywho, let's get to your favorite part, the music of Aladdin.
Yay!
Are you a traditionalist here, or are you going to surprise me?
With, like, my favorite song?
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Lucky bird inside a gilded
But that's not the
I
movie.
know, that's
Stop
not
it.
the movie. It
Not
is in the
canon.
background. It is in the background score. But which
No.
surprised me actually. What we're talking about, which we'll get to in a little
Yeah,
bit,
if you guys don't
is
know.
the show at Disney California Adventure, Aladdin a Musical Spectacular, had this song. I don't even think it was called Lucky Bird, but
We all
that's what
call
I
it Lucky Bird.
Yeah, and not my favorite song. Not gonna lie.
I think it's pretty.
But I was watching the animated film like years later after having seen the DCA show, and I was like, oh my god, that song's in the movie. Like, it's just playing in the background. I had never recognized that melody before.
I love when they do that.
Anyway, back to the music of the film.
So, I mean, obviously, A Whole New World.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of everybody's favorite Disney duet. Just in general,
Mm-hmm.
if someone says, let's sing a Disney duet, like, that's what everyone thinks of.
Yeah.
I think, at least in my experience, you know. Or even, I think A Whole New World, to some people, is like, if you say Disney song, that's the song they start singing. Like,
Yeah.
so many people that I meet, whether you're a Disney fan or not, you know. And so, of course, that song, it's so beautiful. Gives me the goosebumps every time. It's so romantic. Like, it's just phenomenal. So that's like an easy favorite. But I love Aladdin's reprise.
Oh my God, it's literally right here in my notes.
Really?
It is my favorite.
That's probably my favorite.
Riff raff,
Yep.
street rat, I won't buy that.
I can't sing right now, but I want to
Only
sing.
they'd look closer. Would they see a poor boy? No siree, they'd find out there's so much more to me. That's my favorite,
Goosebumps just thinking about it.
favorite musical moment in that film.
Because it's so, like,
I love
you
it.
feel it. And his voice, Scott, how do you say
Scott,
it, Weiner?
no, Scott Weinger is
From Full House.
is the speaking voice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The singing
Brad
voice
Kane.
is Brad Kane.
Brad Kane. Both
Which
of
is
them.
Okay, we'll get into that in a
Sorry.
second. No, please continue.
I was just going to say Aladdin has one of my favorite voices in any Disney movie.
I would agree.
It's just so good.
And it is my favorite. I am, in general, against voice matching. As far as I've never understood why we need somebody to speak it and somebody to sing it. These days,
I'm
they've
with
changed
you on
that.
that. Yeah,
These days,
for the most part.
They, in general, now cast it so that they're doing both. There are so many talented singers out there who are also brilliant actors. So I've never understood why they felt the need to separate. But in the case of Aladdin, I think it is the best voice matching actor to singer.
I literally
ever.
didn't know.
You can't tell.
I always thought Scott did the singing
Seamless.
for Aladdin. And when I found that out, I was like, what?
Absolutely seamless. I love it. And like I said, that reprise of One Jump Ahead, which I think is so interesting because it's the One Jump Ahead reprise. To me, it's its own song. Like, I don't even hear One Jump Ahead when I hear that song.
Really?
I get that it's like the same melody, but it's just so its own thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like Part of Your World reprise, which is another, I've said before on the episode, I believe that, the Part of Your World reprise I actually like more than the real song. But it's clearly the same song. Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
It's clearly the same song. One Jump, I don't know. This reprise, it doesn't feel like the same thing to me.
Yeah, it's its own. I kind of wish they would expand it and make it a full song.
But it's so kind of perfect where I don't even want to touch it. It's so.
Well, okay, what if they made it its own song?
It kind of becomes a lead-in.
And then it had the reprise also. So you have it.
So you'd have One Jump Ahead plus a One Jump Ahead reprise full length.
Okay, no. Here's what I want. I just want Proud of Your Boy to actually be in the movie.
Okay.
That's what I want.
We'll get to that as well.
Sorry.
But it's interesting because in the musical, it has Proud of Your Boy, and One Jump Ahead reprise, I think, leads into that. So they're kind of, I'm pretty sure that's how that works in there. But in any case, I'm in love with the One Jump Ahead reprise. I love that you're in love with it as well.
It's my favorite. And I wish, I get while we were talking about the Lucky Bird, I get why they gave Jasmine a song in that show. I wish she had her complete own song.
Yes, in the animated film, the only song she sings is A Whole New World, and it's a duet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. Speaking of the voices, though, Linda Larkin is the speaking voice of Jasmine, and Leia Salonga is the singing voice.
So twisted. I can't do it, but she's so good.
I'm not crazy about her voice, to be honest.
Oh, I love it. I love how she sounds so kind of sugary and sweet, but she's so sassy.
I think I don't like it for the same exact reasons. It's a little bit too sugary sweet for my taste.
As someone who has a sugary sweet kind of sound, I'm like,
you don't sound like Jasmine. You don't sound like
I don't sound like Jasmine, but I mean, I've got like a younger kind of sound, I think. And so when I hear voices like that, I'm like, yay, there's a place for me.
Now, we've already touched on it a little bit, but let's talk about the theme park representation that Aladdin and Jasmine have had.
Don't get me started on their outfits because...
Oh, well, they changed them recently.
So many...
You said don't get me started. Now let's get started. Let's get down to business. Sorry.
I mean, no.
Because of the change?
I have a thing where if you're going to draw a character to dress a certain way, that's what they wore.
Okay.
So think about that when you're animating it. If they can't wear that in the park, don't draw it in the movie. Because when you go see Jasmine and Aladdin, I think they wear different... Jasmine used to have an outfit that was similar.
A bit more risque,
more detailed. Yes. But in the movie, she's got this low-waisted and her whole stomach's showing and this little crop top.
Here's the thing. People's bodies aren't like the animated characters' bodies.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we should have Disney characters walking around showing a ton of skin. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that, they used to do it and I think they'd wear a bodysuit underneath sometimes or they'd make it high-waist or whatever and that's cool. But now it's I think it's like a dress, right? They basically changed her whole outfit so it doesn't look like her anymore to me. It looks like something she might wear, maybe, but I'm like, just we want to see Jasmine. Put her in the outfit that she's in the movie.
Here's what I would really love. I would love Disney characters with closets full of wardrobes. Like where
they're getting better.
I think Frozen does it quite a bit.
Jasmine does have a purple dress that she wears for like a hot minute.
I don't even remember that.
It's when they're announcing Aladdin as the as her husband, or husband to be, and then she of course has the red Jasmine, which is my favorite. I know it's like the slave Jasmine. It's not. I shouldn't like it that much, but she's so cute in that ponytail. She's so cute. But yeah, and I like the color red, so obviously. Anyways, yeah, they're getting more better. I think, with the clothing, with the outfit changes. Yeah, costume changes.
Of course, we were talking a little bit earlier about Aladdin, a musical spectacular, which took place, huge hit, I think 14-year run at Disney California Adventure, at the Hyperion Theater, where now Frozen.
Yes.
What do they call it? Frozen the musical? Frozen Live at the Hyperion.
Frozen Live.
There we go. Frozen Live at the Hyperion. Now, Aladdin, a musical spectacular also plays on the Disney Fantasy cruise ship. And this, I want to get into something here. When it comes to the theatrics of Aladdin, the flying carpet is obviously as much a centerpiece as the chandelier in Phantom of the Opera or the helicopter in Miss Saigon.
Iconic.
Iconic.
But it's a character. It's not just a thing.
For sure. So the carpet is a character. It's also needs to fly on stage. Mm-hmm. So, DCA's version of Aladdin, a musical spectacular, had the carpet on stage kind of on like a low gimbal of sorts, and there's fog around it, and it would kind of rock back and forth. And then it flew over the audience.
Yeah.
On the stage, it didn't really go up, I don't think.
But it flew over the audience.
It flew over the audience. So, that's cool. I like that. I will say, actually, what are your impressions of Aladdin, the musical spectacular?
I really love the musical. Mm-hmm. I loved that, like I said before, I love that Jasmine has a song. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was beautiful. I was always a fan of it. I didn't get to see it a whole ton. Like, I wasn't one of those people that was there, every single time I was at the park to see it.
Well, it was a commitment. It was like a 45-minute musical.
Yeah. But I loved it, and I wish that I'd gone and seen it more. And I love the genie. Like, no one's Robin Williams, but they were so funny. They were so great. And because I think it was different people that I saw over the years.
And it had a kind of cult following. Like, people were very upset to see it end, even after 14 years. I was ready for a change. I loved it. The first time I saw it on vacation with my family, blown away by the caliber of this show in a theme park. Like, incredible. But I was ready for, something different. I wish it wasn't Frozen. There had been rumors year before of it actually closing earlier for the Toy Story musical, which was on one of the cruise lines. And then that didn't do well. So they ended up changing their mind, keeping Aladdin. But anyway, back to the carpet, the flying carpet.
Yes.
So it starts on the stage with a lot of fog. They end up flying over the audience, which is a great effect. If you're in the balcony or a mezzanine, being in the orchestra, it was kind of like, oh, they're above me. Like, I've got to twist my head in weird angles to see it. Still cool, but like, I don't know. I didn't love that. I guess
thought it was cool.
It is cool.
I liked it.
But the one thing I really hated was that it was a different cast member. So, that always drove me crazy. Because it had to be, so you had to have two sets of Jasmines and Aladdins because they start on stage. And then, as soon as they disappear on stage, they're now overhead. So, obviously, it's not the same two actors. And
so, hopefully, they will be directly above you so you can't tell that it's...
Oh, yeah, right. But they also, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think they were both singing live. So, their voices would sound different.
Oh, no.
It was a weird thing. I'm just not a fan of that. But Disney does this quite a bit, actually. If you're familiar with the Broadway musical Beauty and the Beast, at a certain point, the Beast is actually not the Beast because he has a lot of makeup on.
Yeah.
So they need to take it off in order for him to be the prince at the end. Mm-hmm. So there is a small portion of the show where you're hearing the Beast's voice, but it's actually a different person in a modified Beast costume.
Oh, wow.
So that when he disappears, the actor who's been playing the Beast the whole show can be the prince at the end.
Okay, but it's not like Beast actor, Prince actor. it's like
The Beast and the Prince
one
are the
actor, and there's one guy that kind of stands in for a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Whereas with Aladdin and Jasmine, for the flying carpet, when they're above your head, it's two different performers.
They got some clones.
So yeah, so I'm just like, that's not my favorite thing, but overall,
I feel like I would love getting cast as like, hey, you're just singing Jasmine. Like, you just hop up on that carpet, you just sing the song, and then you go home.
you wouldn't love it when it was the time when the carpet fell. Have you not seen video of this?
No.
Oh, that carpet, like literally so there's wires, obviously it's hanging on wires. from
On the
above.
audience?
Oh, yeah. Well, she was seatbelt in and dangling. They closed the show, cleared the theater, and they had to get a genie, no pun intended, but that's what they call them. They call them genies, the big things that lift up into the air to get the actors down. But they were just dangling there.
Wait, carpet wires,
flying.
actors, seatbelt.
Yep.
Carpet, the wires snap and the carpet falls?
One of the wires corners snaps.
Oh, so it goes
they're
like
dangling.
this.
So it basically flips upside down. Yeah.
I thought you meant the whole thing fell and like on top of the audience.
No, the carpet was dangling midair.
Sorry, I guess I go to worst case scenario.
Listen, neither one's good.
No.
The actress playing Jasmine freaked out. There is video of this on YouTube if you really want to look into it. But there's a long portion.
Gosh, that's horrible though. For whoever had to go through that. I feel bad laughing. I'm like, I don't want to
I know
laugh.
you do, which is why I'm laughing. I'm laughing at you feeling bad for laughing.
I know. Well, it's like when what was the character? Is it Goofy? No, Dopey that fell through.
Oh, the Phantasmic.
Yes.
That was sad and hilarious.
And when the Beast's
sad.
pants were falling down.
Yeah. There's a lot of character mishap videos.
There's so many good videos. As long as no one gets hurt, it's fine. But just don't.
I was actually really concerned for Dopey. That
I
whole
was too.
Phantasmic
I
thing.
was terrified. I didn't laugh the first time I watched that. My heart just stopped.
Yeah.
But
now we can laugh because
yeah,
the
Beast's
performance
pants
okay.
falling down is still the best thing of all time.
But yeah, so in any case, that was Aladdin, a musical spectacular at Disney California Adventure. As I mentioned, the show with the same title is on the Disney, I think is still on the Disney Fantasy cruise ship. Very similar style show. I watched it and very similar look to it. The flying carpet, I gotta say, beautiful because they're on a cruise ship. It doesn't fly overhead. Like
yeah, it just goes up above the stage, right?
Well, it's on a mechanical arm, so it's kind of like on an arm gimbal that comes up out of
like
the floor.
what our Phantasmic has.
Yes,
now.
it's exactly what Disneyland's Phantasmic has now, but done so much better. Because they're indoors and they can control the fog. So this flying carpet has all of this fog, like it's a dry ice fog that falls to the ground and it comes out like immediately under the carpet and covers that mechanical arm beautifully. In Phantasmic, that's much harder to do. You're outdoors, there's winds to deal with. But the way that they did it on the cruise ship really kind of blew my mind. I'm like, I think it's done better than the DCA show for two reasons. I get it. Flying over the audience is really cool. I understand and appreciate that. But no strings. The gimmick is hid really beautifully. And it's the same actors performing the whole song. So I really, really like that. Aside from that, most of the show is very, very similar to what they had at Disney California Adventure. They also did this beautiful thing where they had a scrim come down in front of them while they're on the carpet. So they're projecting like horses galloping by. They were projecting these beautiful images onto the scrim in front of them. They're using the layers really beautifully.
All the shows are so great that I get them mixed up in my head on which one's which. But the cruise ship one, that was the one where it started off with the woman who was the storyteller, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. It was so with the shadow kind of the
shadow set, where they had the puppet and
camels and I love that. I thought it was like beautifully done. Her voice was.
I don't know if it's always
so
a woman on the cruise ship or if it's just like the video.
The video is, but yeah, I loved it.
But yeah, no, though the DCA one had the puppet, and it was always the guy who played the Sultan was like that. Narrator.
That's right. It was like the puppet. Yeah. Gotcha.
So that was cool. And then, of course, in the Magic Kingdom, and I want to say the Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris as well. I could be wrong about that, but they have the Aladdin's Royal the flying carpet ride, which is basically the Dumbo ride with flying carpets.
Yes.
And it's like, whatever.
You got me really excited for a minute because you said flying carpet ride. And I was like, what?
No.
What?
No, it's just like Dumbo. But, of course, then there's Aladdin's Royal Caravan. And as I've expressed before, I love it when they have a parade based on one property.
Yes.
And I honestly think Lion King probably did it best, but Aladdin is very close.
That was at Disneyland, right?
It was at Disneyland. It was at, I remember from Disney-MGM Studios, but I believe it was at Disneyland as well.
I think I saw this in person. Like, I think I remember seeing this. Maybe? It just sounds really familiar.
Probably.
Yeah.
The thing I love about this is that it's basically taken right out of the movie. Like, they have that whole, it's the all Prince Ali number, and they basically recreate the parade, and it's so good.
I will say, though, the song stops, and then there's an awkward pause.
Yeah.
And then it just starts again, and it reminds me so much of the Christmas parade.
I was going to say, the Christmas parade is the most guilty of that.
Stop. I'm actually, sorry, I'm not a fan of the Christmas parade. Only because it just never stops. I'm like, just new song.
The problem is it does stop. I wish that it would just run continuously instead of it has the beginning and an end and then a pause and then begins again. That drives me crazy.
It's so awkward. But yeah, the Aladdin one does that too. And I was like, what's happening?
Prince Ali.
So that would get, I think if you went every day and you saw it every day, it'd probably get a little like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't think they want you to do that.
People like us, though, that we go all the time. But no, I love that Aladdin parade. I thought it was so great.
Giant
Genies
genie.
everywhere.
Yeah, inflatable genie, genie on the street.
Yes.
Abu as the elephant with Princess and Jasmine and Aladdin on top.
That float is so cool. It's both of them. It's not just Aladdin. There's Jasmine, too. And it's like, my girl, she made it.
Yeah, it's really, really, it's a great parade. One of my favorites. Definitely check it out on YouTube if you have not seen it. It's called Aladdin's Royal Caravan. But speaking of the parks and stuff, what kind of attraction would you like to see centered around Jasmine or Aladdin in the parks that doesn't exist?
I mean, okay, so I don't know if you guys have talked about this at all, but I heard rumors that at one point they were developing a magic carpet ride, dark ride. Kind of an adventure dark ride.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that.
So,
kind of like Indiana Jones adventure?
I think so, yeah. I think
to me,
it's like a rumor though, so I don't know for sure, but like I've heard, that they were kind of thinking about doing this at one point, but that's what I would want. Like I would, do you remember the video game? Did you ever play the Aladdin?
Yes, it's the only game I've ever beaten.
Really? Oh, I never beat it.
I'm the worst video game player ever, and the only game I ever beat was Aladdin for Super Nintendo.
Oh, I got so close. I had Sega Genesis.
Sega!
Yes, but it was my favorite game. That one and like Lion King. But yeah, so when you're playing the video game, you're flying the carpet to get out of the, from the lava and out of the Cave of Wonders. So like that is a ride. But then but like a typical dark ride, take you through the story. So it'd be so cool if it like went super fast when you're like going through the Cave of Wonders and there's like the lava and then you go and then, you're like on a whole new world with Aladdin and Jasmine. And that ride, that would be legendary.
You want to take a look at my notes? Same exact thing.
It's one of those things that it begs to be done, I think.
The difference for me is that I think it lends itself more to a motion simulator. As much as I don't like screens, I feel like that's more of a motion simulator experience.
If it's done like Flight of Passage, I'm down.
Yeah. Okay.
Not like Star Tours.
Yeah. No,
I like Star
completely.
Tours.
Yeah.
But
it's like Soarin' kind of. But yes, I had the same exact scenes. Even when I saw the movie, I remember like for the first time, I remember being like, this would be such a cool ride when they're flying through the Cave of Wonders. And then, as you said, end it with a whole new world. I think that would be perfect.
Just think of even the ride vehicle. It's like a carpet and it like curls up and you hold on right there and you're peering over the edge. And I think that would be so cool. Bad. Yeah. Make it Disney, please. I want it. I want it so hard.
Yeah. Now, at this point in the show, this is normally where we ask, should it be a Broadway musical? We don't need to answer that. Yeah. It already is a Broadway musical. As you mentioned earlier, Proud of Your Boy is a song that was written for the film. Did you mention this? I think you did, yeah.
It's the best. It's the best. It's the best.
It's a great song for Aladdin. It's about Aladdin's mom, which is why it was cut from the film. The character of Aladdin's mom was cut from the film. She's back in the Broadway musical, so they put Proud of Your Boy back into the Broadway musical.
They could have done a flashback.
It's true. It's true. You're right. They could have. It's so great. Now, this has been a song that's like been known by Disney fans for a long time. Because
Clay Aiken did a cover.
Yes.
I love it. I think it's a beautiful cover. But
I do not. But I love the song.
I disagree. But the song is...
I remember the first time I heard it was Alan Menken doing a demo of it on like one of the bonus CDs or something.
Yes, I remember that. Special features.
Yeah. And then Clay Aiken came out with it. And I loved this song from like day one of hearing it.
Yeah.
Very, very happy to hear that it's in the musical.
Yes.
The musical is going on tour. It's coming to Los Angeles in January.
Must see.
Tom Schumacher, who runs Disney Theatrical, he's really like, he's adamant. There's a lot, if you're a big theater fan, you'll know a lot of tours go out and they're not the same production value as the Broadway show. They'll make shortcuts and stuff because they have to for, number one, budget, but also theater spaces. Disney really tries not to do this. And so my guess is it's going to be the same technology that goes out on tour. My fingers are crossed that that's true. Because I'm not going to lie, that and Proud of Your Boy are like the two reasons I want to see this show. I'm not, from what I've seen, a huge fan of this Broadway musical.
Really?
Yeah, it just does not excite me that much. It
seems different.
It looks fine.
It looks different because, I mean, Genie's not blue, for one thing.
I mean, he wears blue clothes. But yeah, no, he's not like a painted character.
Right. But it's a very different look from what we're expecting.
Yeah, I don't...
With the Disney version, you know.
I don't love what I've seen.
Yeah.
I think it looks all right. I'm not like... Clearly, I didn't run to the theater to see this. So I'm hoping. I'm going in with an open mind. I don't have tickets or anything. I'll see it at some point when it's here.
I want to see it.
Yeah, but between Proud of Your Boy and the Flying Carpet, that excites me.
Yes.
And a lot of course, additional music as well. So it is a Broadway musical, and it's one of two Broadway musicals running. Pretty soon, Frozen will be on Broadway as well, so they'll be back to 3 shows on Broadway. But yeah, let's talk about some direct-to-video sequels and spin-offs that they have.
Oh my gosh, I haven't watched them. I've seen them, but it's been since I was a kid.
I don't
trust my memory very well, but I do remember enjoying them.
I gotta say, Return of Jafar, which is the second one. I know quite a few people who have said better than Aladdin.
No way.
People love Return of Jafar. Now, the weird thing about it is there are 3 of them. There's Aladdin, Return of Jafar, and
King of Thieves?
King of Thieves, yes. Aladdin and the King of Thieves. And Robin Williams did not do the voice of the genie in Return of Jafar. He came back for King of Thieves. It was
a big deal, though. I remember that. Everyone was talking about how big of a deal it was that it wasn't him. It was the voice of Homer Simpson, right?
Oh, was it Castellanta or something?
I don't remember his name, but yeah, people kept saying it was the voice of Homer Simpson that did it.
It doesn't sound like him.
No.
Is what I'll say. And I think he did the parades and stuff as well. It's not Dan Castelletta, I think is the name of the actor.
As a kid, it didn't bother me, but I think I noticed. Like, I think I still enjoyed the movie, but...
But people love Return of Jafar.
I need to watch it again. King of Thieves, I feel like I remember a little bit better. Because I think in Return of Jafar, don't they get married? Aladdin and Jasmine?
I've never seen them.
I feel like they get married or they're getting ready to get married. But I remember King of Thieves, it's about Aladdin finding his dad. And he meets, if I'm not mistaken, because it's been so long.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
He meets his dad, and of course it's
He finds out his dad's still alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his dad is the, spoiler alert.
Oh, okay, spoiler alert.
King of Thieves. Like, I mean... Yeah, I think.
So
I don't know, guys. I was like, what, 10 years old when I watched it, so I don't really remember.
Yeah, so these ones are like have really well received. A lot of these direct video sequels, not so much, but especially Return of Jafar, people love it. So.
It was the time of the Renaissance, though, and I think like Little Mermaid sequels, I consider a little better than. Like Pocahontas sequels.
Oh, Pocahontas sequels.
I feel like sequels have kind of gone downhill the later.
Wait a second, I actually haven't seen the Pocahontas. It's that Hunchback one that really killed me.
I've never seen the Hunchback one.
It's just terrible.
Yeah, but like Little Mermaid.
Even with Jennifer Love Hewitt, it was still terrible.
Little Mermaid 3, the prequel, I love. I don't
know if I've seen the third. I know I've seen the second.
It made me cry. It's like it's about like her and her dad.
Off to the sea we'll go. Which one's that? Is that part 2?
That's 2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't like that one as much.
I like that song.
Oh.
No, I like that song.
I'm glad you like it.
I think it's catchy.
I like the music in the third one. Yeah, it's okay. They're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Better than a lot of sequels.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the real story, of course, of Aladdin. You know, Disney did their version of it. It's based on 1001 Arabian Nights. The thing I found most interesting is that the original story is set in Western China.
Which, okay, did you notice that when they were at the very end of the magic carpet ride, they're looking down over a Chinese dragon?
Okay, yes. You
remember that?
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, and after watching Mulan recently and seeing kind of similar imagery, I feel like maybe they were, not anything to do with Mulan, but I think maybe that was them sort of doing a little shout out to,
tribute.
Hey, like we know the story is originally from, or the story's originally about a Chinese character, so maybe it's like a little nod to that.
Maybe, but to be fair, they went everywhere, right? Like they traveled the world.
I guess that's true. But I thought it was kind of cool because I was like, oh, maybe it's like a little nod to that, and that's also where they like end the sequence. It felt more significant, I guess. I don't know.
No, it's a good point. I never really thought of that, to be honest. Now, of course, huge change in the original story is no flying carpet. That's a Disney fabrication, and it is really a popular character if you think about it. One of I believe it was I could be messing this up, but I think it was the first character to be done in a computer.
Really?
For one of their animated films. Yeah, because of the patterns and stuff. It's a computer created character. I think it was the first one.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's so many sidekicks in it, too, because we didn't even talk about Iago yet.
Oh, Iago's great. Gilbert Gottfried as Iago. I love that character. He becomes like a good guy in the sequels, doesn't he? I feel like...
I feel like maybe he does. Yeah.
Yeah. Iago did. Did you know that at one point he took over the Tiki Room in Florida?
No.
So it was it's a hated attraction.
What?
But they had the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management, and it was managed by Iago and Zazu. And people.
I feel like I would have loved that.
It burnt down. It burnt down. So when they brought it back as the original because people hated it so much, and people were like, it's a sign. It was God.
So what you're saying
it was Walt.
If someone hated it so much, they burnt it down.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. I saw it once live in person. I didn't hate it as much as the average guest. It's not like it was Disneyland's. It's not like it was Walt's original in the park.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, it modernizes a bit, but people really, really hated it. I just remember like Iago and Zazu animatronics, which was kind of cool animatronics.
Sounds fun. Yeah. I want to check it out. I got to YouTube that.
But people hate it. But yeah, no, Iago's a great sidekick. But Jafar, of course, there was no real villain in the original story. So the Jafar character, he actually wants his son to marry Jasmine, not him, which is a little creepy in the animated film, to be honest. But they got rid of the character of Jafar's son, of course. Aladdin, as we mentioned, does have parents in the original story. So Proud of Your Boy does fit in the original story of Aladdin, not so much in the Disney one. The genie had unlimited wishes.
Must be nice.
That's pretty sweet. I mean, I'd never get rid of that genie. And of course, the genie did not have that desire to become free. That was kind of like a Disney American culture aspect that they put on the character, which I actually think is really nice. I
love it.
Yeah.
It humanizes him.
Absolutely. Absolutely humanizes him. I agree. So, yeah. But that's a lot. Anything in the original story that I missed that you found interesting?
I honestly don't. I was so confused about the original story because it kept saying all these things about, when I was reading up on it, about how it was added later. And then it was added later and this, like, I think this was changed and then this was added. I was so confused about what was in the original because it was in the, a compilation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. It was a bunch of stories in 1001 Arabian Nights.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I was just super confused about the original story because it seemed like it jumped around to a lot of different facts and stuff.
And that's the thing with a lot of these. I find when we're doing
old.
research
it's an old story,
and it's always like
it's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale.
Yeah. And a kind of a moral story. But yeah, anyway, I think that does it for Aladdin or Jasmine. I'm sorry, I keep saying Aladdin. This is Jasmine's episode. Aladdin gets enough attention. But anything else you want to add about Jasmine or before we get going?
I mean, I feel like we covered it pretty well.
Okay.
She's awesome.
She's awesome. She's feisty.
Yeah, she can stand on her own. She doesn't need a man.
All right. Well,
she did get the man anyways, even though she didn't need it.
She did, and she convinced her dad to let her marry him, even though he's not a prince.
She changed a frickin' law.
That's true. Well, technically, Dad did, but I don't know of any other Disney princess that has changed the law. So. Did Elsa?
Get it, girl.
Well, she's not a princess. She's a queen anyway.
Who?
And I was going to say, did Elsa do anything like
they said Alice. I was like, well, Alice changed lots of laws in Wonderland, but we're not talking about Alice.
She's not a princess.
But yeah, no, Elsa's a queen, so she doesn't count.
No counting. Anyway, guys, I think that means it's trivia time! Today on the show, I have Christopher Smith for Trivia Time, the author of The Walt Disney World That Never Was. Welcome to the show, Christopher.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Tell the folks a little bit about your book. How did it come about for you?
Sure. So The Walt Disney World That Never Was talks about all of the different concepts, either lands or attractions or restaurants that were dreamed up for the Disney parks, but that never came to be. And that's a topic, as a Disney fan, that just fascinated me for years. And so I decided, I'm an attorney by trade, and I do a lot of research. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just research this topic and see what I can find. And really just came across these fascinating stories about these really amazing and grand concepts that were designed and thought of, and a ton of money were put into a lot of these, but for a variety of reasons, just never made it into the parks.
Great. Well, today's Trivia Time subject, actually, this is a nice little segue, is Disney's Grand Floridian Resort. And I mentioned it's a good segue because I'll start with my question here. Originally, where the Grand Floridian is located, that was not the original idea for that space. There was going to be a different hotel. Do you have any idea what the theming of this hotel? It was based on a country. Do you know what country it was supposed to be before it was the Grand Floridian?
Yes, absolutely. That's obviously a subject that's near and dear to my heart. It was actually going to be the Asian resort. And so a lot of people don't know that, because I think the resorts around the Seven Seas Lagoon are so iconic. You know, you have the contemporary, the Polynesian, of course, and then the Grand Floridian. But on opening day in 71, it was only the contemporary and the Polynesian. And so these other three grand concepts were considered: the Asian, which was going to be on the Grand Floridian site, and then two others, the Polynesian and the Persian, none of which ever came to be. But it would have been a really cool concept, certainly much different than what we have today with the Grand Floridian. Would have had a very strong Thai influence, a very large, kind of 160-foot tall A-frame building with a restaurant that would provide great views of the entire property. So it's always fun for me, as you can imagine, to think about what could have been. Yeah,
it's crazy how many of those ideas and concepts just end up on a shelf somewhere, and a lot of times, we do see them come up later somewhere else, but it's just crazy to think what could have been. So
the number one rule of things that never came to be is that great ideas in Imagineering never truly die. They sit out there and wait to be dusted off and refurbished and put back out there.
Yeah.
But one more point on the Asian, though, they were serious about doing that resort. I mean, if you look at all the early marketing materials back in 71 when the park opened, there were maps and tons of diagrams and depictions of the resort. But because of an oil embargo in 73 that had a huge impact on the U.S. economy as a whole, less people were going to Disney World. So, unfortunately, plans had to be changed.
It's the original Beastly Kingdom.
Oh yes, don't even get me started. I got to see Pandora recently, and it's beautiful. But I have a soft spot in my heart for what could have been with Beastly Kingdom.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fool. I don't know why I chose this topic of the Grand Floridian for trivia today, because I got to be honest, I know very little about it. But it's your turn. Let's ask me some trivia about the Grand Floridian.
Well, let me first say, obviously we didn't discuss this beforehand because you stole my question. All right.
Oh, so did I really? Wow.
Okay. So you're going to get a very easy question.
Okay. You said you've said that before.
Love the Grand Floridian. It has a much different feel from a lot of the other resorts on property, as you can imagine. Much more elegant, that Victorian type atmosphere. Well, one of the things that I love when you walk into the lobby of the Grand Floridian is the sound, right? So there's an orchestra that plays in the Grand Floridian lobby. I think it's actually up on the second floor. My question for you is, what is the name of this orchestra?
Oh, that is not easy. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen. The Grand Floridian Orchestra. I don't know.
Let me say this. You are extremely close. So let me give you a hint. It is
the Grand Orchestra?
It is the Grand Floridian. The Grand Floridian, insert word, orchestra. So Grand Floridian blank orchestra.
Grand Floridian, is it... jazz doesn't seem right for that space, but is it a Grand Floridian jazz orchestra? No.
That's a good guess. It's actually the Grand Floridian Society Orchestra. Which, certainly, when you walk in and you hear that, you kind of adds to that Victorian ambiance that kind of permeates throughout the resort.
Okay, Andrew, bonus question here for you. Do you know what hotel you're gonna know this? I don't even know what hotel the Grand Floridian was designed after.
Ooh, I actually don't know the answer to that.
Interesting. It's in San Diego.
I would have to think, is it really? See, I was about to say something from the Eastern Seaboard.
Nope.
So I'm completely, you've got me on this one. I'm
Okay.
completely.
Well, it's interesting because I was down there vacationing and ran into this hotel sitting on the beach. I'm like, wow, that looks a lot like the Grand Floridian, and pretty much exactly like it. And did the research, and sure enough, the Grand Floridian was greatly inspired by the Hotel del Coronado in San Diego, which is where pieces of the film Some Like It Hot were shot. So,
very good.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: I mean, have you ever stayed at the Grand Floridian?
I've not stayed there, no.
My wife and I, we have young children, and so we've stayed there before, and we really like it. But in terms of a Disney vacation, we like the feel of other resorts. I mean, it's a beautiful, gorgeous resort, but it has kind of a different, by design, a more upscale feel that some people love. But with our children, I think we'll be staying kind of other places for at least a few years.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with a Disney resort. My priority is always, I shouldn't say priority, but the thing I always look for is I like the water taxis and the monorail options. Basically, if you can avoid the buses, I'm like, that's good enough for me.
We actually, I'd never stayed at the Contemporary before, but when we took our children for the first trip, because the design kind of wasn't my favorite, but we stayed there, and the ability to walk from the Contemporary to the Magic Kingdom instead of having to either get on the monorail or do anything else was worth it for us. So that convenience certainly plays a big role, and is a good feature of all those resorts there on the lagoon.
Yeah, definitely. Well, anyway, Christopher, thanks so much for coming on the show. Once again, the name of the book is The Walt Disney World That Never Was. You can find it on Amazon and all those places you look for books. So thank you so much, Christopher.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Okay, folks, thanks for flying along with us on that magic carpet.
Nice pun.
That's such a terrible dad joke. Why did I say that? It's bad.
I enjoy them.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, guys, between episodes, you can connect with us on social media. All of that can be found over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. Thanks for pondering this princess with me.
Anytime.
And guys, we'll see you next time. Have a fantastic week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.